Good afternoon. This is Ed Patterson. Ed, and to my friends, thanks so much for joining me today. We are doing another word in the great vocabulary test of the Book of Mormon. If you're just recently joined or don't really know what that is, I've gone through the Book of Mormon and chose 60 words that have been used only once. And in my opinion, if you take the body of those 60 words, it's my belief that Joseph Smith could not have known them, spelled some of them right perhaps, but their definitions, how they're used, and these 60 words are strategically used throughout the Book of Mormon only once. There are 36 of them that are not used in the Bible, of these 60. And there's 30, half of them are not used in the Bible or the Doctrine and Covenants. So unique words, very unique words. There are 1,250,000 words in the standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So often these are words used only once in that amount of time. Could Joseph have known that? That really is the question. Now you can take a word here and a word there and say, oh, sure, he could have known that. And he might have. I don't know. But the body, the end of the 60, then you go, now I can make a decision. And when you see what you've seen in the past, what's coming in the future, you're going to think that would be a long stretch for anybody, let alone the undereducated Joseph. Not diminished, not slow, not having problems with his mind. He just didn't have the education to produce these kind of words. And all words, all definitions are learned. They don't come because we're smart or good looking. They're learned. Okay, that's a generality. Let's go to the word itself. The word here is mend. And mend is the 29th of 60 words, 9th of my third group, which is little words, 1, 2 syllables with multiple definitions. That's where the kick is. Boy, multiple definitions. How would Joseph know those multiple definitions and use correctly? So let's take a look at the word itself. Mend, 100% of the people spelled it right. Not too surprising. That's a pretty easy word. But we have only 47% that got the definition right, because there are 5 definitions in the 1828 dictionary, the American Dictionary of the English Language. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Now, before I go on, this word is found twice in the Bible, not in the Doctrine and Covenants. So could Joseph have read that word in the Bible? Yes, but there are 744,000 words in the Bible. Would he have said, mend? No, what does that mean? I got to figure that out so I can use it later on in the Book of Mormon. Now, I realize it's almost silly, even trite. But think about the words you have heard and are going to hear. Men being a good example of that. It is my contention that Joseph could not have known this collective body of words. And I have, after this, another 60 I'm going to show you. There are different kinds of words in the Book of Mormon. I could have done another 60, another 60, and another 60, and another 60. It's not hard to find these words that seem so unique. And if Joseph created the Book of Mormon out of his own mind, he has to be responsible for each one of them. I don't believe he could have known these. And mend, spell it? Sure, he could spell mend. Could he define it right out of the 5 definitions in the 1828 dictionary? Let's get some context and find out. So we're going to look at here in the Book of Mormon, Helaman 11. And Helaman 11 is kind of an interesting chapter in that here the folks who don't like much of anything, the Gadian robbers, want to destroy and tear down and control and have for their own. So they'll kill, rape, do anything. It doesn't really matter to them. The Nephites are battling them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, the Gadians move on, but the saints, the folks left, people who believe, are going through some rough times of their own. Now, the verse that I'm going to read mend out of is covering 3 years in one verse. So it's a boom, boom, boom. So we'll just kind of see how it fits in, first of all. So this is Helaman 11, 36. And in the 82nd year, they began again to forget the Lord their God. So that's 1 year. The comment of the prophet is, they're beginning to forget the Lord. 2nd year. And in the 83rd year, they began to wax strong in iniquity. So I forget the Lord, I turn to the vices of the world, probably not good stuff. And in the 84th year, the third year in this series, they did not mend their ways. Okay, so now we kind of have that in the open. We can kind of, is that a big deal? Is that, what do we think of that? So let me just read the 5 definitions to you, and then we'll pick the one that fits the best. So, number 1, again, this is the 1828 dictionary, the American Dictionary of the English Language. Number 1, so the most popular use of mend, to repair, as a breach, to supply a part that is broken and defective. So you're repairing something. Number 2, to correct, to set right, to alter for the better. Number 3, to repair, to restore to a sound state. Number 4, to help, to advance, to make better. Number 5, to improve. So you have 5 here. And you decide, okay, well, which fits? And these are all my opinion. I don't care. I have an opinion on a lot of things, so I'll just tell you what I think. You can be happy to look it up yourself and see what you think. So we're having a problem here with the Nephites. They forget the Lord, they're in iniquity, and they do not mend their ways. So number 2 definition seems to fit the best, and it is, they do not mend their ways, to correct, to set right, and to alter for the better. They are not going to the better. These folks are in iniquity, and they're staying that way. They are not mending their ways. Now, again, just another word of 60 and of 120. Would Joseph have known that definition? That's a pretty tricky little definition. That's up for you to decide. My opinion, and I've gone through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these kinds of words. Joseph's not capable. Not because he's dumb, not because he's off, because he never had the education. Again, every word that is learned, or every word you have, every definition you have in your head is learned from somewhere. Your environment, school, family, friends, in talk, discussion, reading, wherever it comes from, you learned it. Joseph didn't really have a great time in reading, certainly not in education. Could he have got all these words so right that he uses them correctly? And again, of the hundreds of words I looked up, I've not found one word that, I can't fit it in any of these definitions, or, only one definition and it's a wrong definition. I never found that. And that was interesting. Okay, so that's the idea. We go on now from 29 now to the 30. So the next one is halfway through the 60. Thank goodness for anyone who's following along. You're good people. I appreciate it. I hope to see you down the road.